Hi, folks. Welcome to Software Testing Hacks. Today, we are going to discuss some of the scenario based software testing interview questions. These are most commonly asked while you are attending the interview, whenever you are pressured or whenever you are experienced. But they will try to understand how you can manage such situations. For that, we would need to answer this type of question. So, couple of them I have documented. So let's start. Before we begin, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. Get started. Whenever release is in next 2 hours, and as a set tester, if you have found a blocker bug, then what you will do? So this is the scenario. First thing first. First, what we will do? We will raise the bug because we have found that there is an issue. First, we will have to go log it as a bug. Then discuss with a team lead or manager and call the development team to see if they can replicate and fix it or whether you can have some workaround you have to check that. So what happens is first you will log a bug. So suppose you have a issue and also your production release is in next 2 hours. So it is a difficult situation. It is a critical time. First you have to raise a bug and then you have to directly go and talk to a lead or else your manager that you have found this issue. And before you go right, you have to check whether there is any other workaround. Workaround is nothing but any alternate solution that you can find. Suppose say you have a landing page upon which you have a login button at the top and a login button at the bottom. One of the link is not working. Say on click of the login button at the bottom, it is broken. Okay, but the login button at the top is working fine. So there is a workaround. Instead of clicking on login on this, login button at the bottom, if you click on the login button at the top, it works. So there is a way where customer can log in actually, right? So that's how you have to find if there is any other workaround. If we have a workaround, it is always suggested to go it for now, as the fix may create new issues. Okay, so if you find that there is a workaround, then definitely it is better now you can go live. But later, you have to fix it. There is no other option, but later on you have to fix it. Either you can go for hotfix or else you can, based on the priority of the bug. Okay, in this case, in whatever the example I have told you, we have to fix it as soon as possible. Otherwise, during the call itself, if you find that while during the deployment itself, if you have found that there is an issue, then you have to fix it, right? You have to give immediate fix, and then only it will be easy for uh, production like, go live, right? If we don't have discuss with a product owner and analyze the business impacts based on uh, based on either we have to fix it or notify the customer that a known issue for the patch and we fix it later and then deploy. This completely depends on the severity of the defect. How it is impacting the customers matters the most. Suppose the login page, in the example that I gave, no, if the page is having just one login button, and if you click on that, it is not getting navigated to the right page and it is broken. That's where you have to fix it and then only you have to deploy it. There is no other option. Such cases, you have to it depends, completely depends on what type of defect it is. If it is a minor or major issue, then that is okay. And if we have any workaround, that is also okay. Otherwise, we have to hard stop it, fix it, go to the production. Okay. So this is one of the scenario-based interview question. Let's say you have 50 test cases to execute and you have limited time to deliver. You cannot take any other resource for help. So you will have to execute these test cases to deliver on time. What will be your strategy? So for an experienced guy, this type of question we will most frequently get. You have a lot of test cases to be executed, but you don't have any other resource help you cannot take, and but you have to complete. There is a deadline. How will you manage such a situation? So only by the experience, only such scenarios can be answered. That time, prioritize the test cases depending on risk, cost, time, and other factors. Okay, first is prioritization. Ask yourself, why did we end up in this situation? Sometimes there could be a client requirement and you will be packed up with a lot of work. If it is because of that, sometimes we may have to tolerate that and we have to work for it, right? First, you ask yourself if it is an issue with project side or if it is an issue from your side, if some of the resources are on leave or any of the things that has affected this to be overflown, right? Use feature toggle where you release the product, test in production, and release again with just a toggle one. You are sure it works as expected. Sometimes, um, I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. If we have a new feature and we have committed that we will be releasing this feature in the upcoming sprint. Okay. In the upcoming sprint, but now we have the tight schedules, but still we have to complete it because our deadline is to complete the feature testing within the given time. So we have to complete the testing before it goes to the production. You have to test it thoroughly. Sometimes there is a risk involved in that. If it goes to the prod, in later point, if there is any issue with that, then you cannot roll back because it is a whole new feature, or else if you're adding, if it is affecting some other modules also, it is a difficult situation, right? So what you can do is you can set it behind the feature. There is a concept called feature flag. Okay. Whenever you are building a new feature, you can toggle on the feature flag so that the new features will be available. Once you toggle it off, it will be back to the older state. So there is a concept of feature flag. So we can use that methodology or that technique to save us from certain extent rather than affecting it in the real production. We can somehow manage it. If there is any issue, we can toggle it off and then later we can fix it and then go ahead for it. So that's how you can answer this question. It completely depends on the how much work is left and then what are the other factors that matters. Highlight the risk to the stakeholders. Even if you complete the test cases within this specified amount of time, and you have to specify, so there could be any issue, there are chances of this may affect the customer, this may affect the customer. So those things you just have to draft and then send it to the stakeholders so that they will be aware in case if anything goes wrong. So they will be aware that, yeah, this is already a known thing, right? Yeah. When the developer is not ready to accept the issue at any cost in the situation, what will you do? So this is also one of the quite commonly asked question. So always there will be a fight between developers and testers, right? For this matter. So this is also one of the question. Understand why he is not accepting the bug. Sometimes we might have misunderstood the uh, feature or the requirement. Okay, so that can also be the possible case. If it is as per requirement, check that add mention comments, close or cancel it. So it completely depends. So first think whether your understanding is correct or not. and from developer whatever developer has told is right or not. Just analyze. Okay, and then you have to mention it in the ticket itself, in the comment section itself. You just mention that, so this is what my understanding is, so that I feel this is a defect, so that there will be a clarity. Even if somebody later comes and sees that, they will get to know, yes, this whether they can accept the defect or not, so that you can go and take the help of other stakeholders or other managers. As a whole team we work, right? So we can take others help too. Mm. If not replicated, try different ways and see what's different in dev and QA machines. Okay, sometimes my machine behaves a different way and the developer's machine may behave in a different way. That's also possible. Some of the times that happens. So recheck it. Try to whatever you have tested is reproducible in others system or not also, and other environments also. Just check that. So that's how you can prove that whatever you have said is right or not. You can go and prove it. If you if you think that is a bug, then definitely you have to log up defect, and then you have to take it forward from then. But if you feel that this is not a defect after further analysis, then you can go ahead, close that defect also. If everything is same and still unable to replicate QA or dev, then adding comments seems this is an inconsistent issue. And if we found again, we will open the bug, or we will reopen the same ticket also. So that also be possible. Okay, so the next question is, while reviewing the necessary regression tests that are needed for particular story, you notice there are currently no automated tests available. Please describe what your next step would be. Okay. While reviewing the necessary regression tests that are needed for a particular story, you notice there are currently no automated tests available for that particular feature. Okay, what do you do then? First, look at the features that are not covered and see those are done repeatedly. And if it is a critical issue or critical features, then try to create some tasks and cover them along with the other works, or make this as a priority, because the coverage is important. So at that time, you have to see if there is no coverage, then later also you can add the tests. If for critical features, then still have a ticket or task to track automation for those. And whenever any QA gets time, ask them to stop and automate it. Okay. So this is one kind of question. And also sometimes there are chances of asking this type of question also. Okay. Going ahead, say you have 100 regression test cases and 4 days to execute it, but you can execute only 20 per day. What you will do in this situation? You have to execute all 100. You can't leave any. Okay. So what is the in this situation? How do you handle it? Okay. There are a lot of test cases, more than whatever you can put effort for, right? So you can manage it by asking your lead to give an extra tester who can complete 5 test cases daily. So that 5 test cases, 4 days would complete 20. So there is an extra 20 test cases. So you can ask the lead to provide you another resource, so that you will be able to complete the task. You have a stretch for some days to complete. You have to stretch basically. Sometimes you also may have to execute 25 test cases. That would also be possible, right? Sometimes you may have to stretch a bit and then, uh, you know, uh, stretch and work for a little more time. That is also one thing you can do. Take the help of automation and execute the remaining manual cases. First, you run the automation, and if you know how much is covered, you can just see in the report how much coverage you know is being done through automation. So you can just see that, and then remaining thing you can go and do it manually. So those are the things that we can do. Okay. And the next question is, there is a client issue. One developer is on leave for the entire week, and other developers are in training. The issue needs to be escalated urgently, and it has come to the tester to find the root cause of the problem. How will you, the testers approach be, sorry. So sometimes happens that you will be asked to do the root cause analysis. Okay. Whenever there is an issue, first it will come to QA. We have to check what has caused it the issue. So before you go to the developer, first you have to do a kind of research by yourself, right? So what you have to do is, if it's a front end issue, you can quickly check if the issue is reproducible or not. Issue is reproducible, you can try to figure out if customer is using customized data or if it's direct issue. You can also try to find if there are any workaround that could help the customer to unblock the issue. If there is no workaround, you can create a bug, and based on the priority and severity of you can escalate it to the development manager and see if they can provide quick fix or rollback, you know, rollback of the production build. Sometimes customers only will uh, insert the data which are not correct ones. Sometimes that happens. It may not be a bug also. Okay. So at that time you can check and then you can say back, you can comment it out saying that I tried to reproduce this, it is not reproducible. Looks like this is a data issue. Okay. But in case you find that this is a real issue, then you have to get it fixed, right? If based on the priority. Okay, you can prioritize because if the severity is high, then we have to fix it immediately only. If it is of high severity, then go ahead and say that, yeah, this is what is happening, and we want this to be fixed quickly as soon as possible. So, such type of scenarios you have to handle it. Okay, so if it is a front end issue, this is how you can do it. Say you have found that there is a back end issue. Okay, then what you can do is you can go to the backend servers. You can basically check the APIs, analyze the logs, and figure out which particular calls for failing. Once you identify them, you can try to reproduce the issue locally. If the issue can be reproducible locally, then try to find any workarounds. If there are no any workarounds, inform the customer. If there is no workaround, sorry, if there are any workarounds, then go ahead and inform the customer. If there is no workaround, then create the bug, and based on the priority and severity of the issue, you can escalate it to the development manager and see if they can provide quick fix or rollback production build. Sometimes it happens for a couple of users and it is not for all the users. But that is okay. Okay. But we can keep a track of one of the customer. If it is happening for all the customers, then it would be a very much issue, right? So at that time, you can check and then you can report it based on what the severity is. Then you will have to prioritize the defect and you have to see that. if it is for specific customers that is happening, or else if it is happening for all the customers. So all that you have to analyze and check it in the logs if there are any errors that is found in the logs. Okay, you have to do some research by yourself, and then only uh, you can report, or else based on that you can take the action. So yeah, these are the scenario based questions we learned today. Hope you have all learned something from this. If you have really liked this video, please do like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.